Welcome to the Riverview. I'm Barbara Skipper.
My name is Mary.
And I'm Joy.
And I'm Marlene. And we have a little special Remembrance Day today, and we just want to think about a few things, what Remembrance Day means to us. And Barb, maybe you could start off by sharing your book there.
Well, I brought along a book that was published by my husband. He liked to write short stories. So one day after he had 3 or 4 short stories written that he was really just writing for his own interest, he decided to take them into the newspaper office and have a chat with the editor. So he suggested to the editor of the local paper, which was the Chatham Daily News at that time, and told him what he was doing. So the editor was really quite interested, and he said that if he could bring in a short story once a month, he would publish it on a special page of memories or something in the paper. So my husband got busy and wrote more and wrote more. So in the long run, he had all these stories and decided to put them into a book. And to make the book more identifiable to people, he put pictures on the front to indicate pioneer days and the 20s and the 30s and the 40s. And because his writing went back to his memories and other things. So
Is that the book you read to us one time in the library?
it's possible.
Yeah. that
Are there
was
some
good.
war
And
stories
I
in
read-
there too, like stories of your husband's war experiences? Not so much in that one?
No, these are more his memories when he was young,
Yes.
when he went to public school, when he was home working on the farm. And
Because I know the book you shared with me, which I have in my room,
yes,
and I
There was
treasured.
2 books, weren't there?
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Actually,
I read one.
he wrote 4 books.
Oh my goodness, that's
So
great.
the first one was about his being in the army.
Yes.
And then he was able to transfer to the Air Force, and so he wrote about that.
That's the one that I've read, yes.
And then
Oh my.
this one was the short stories, and then he wrote one about his career
Yes.
after.
He's a very talented man to write those.
Yes, he was
Great.
actually, because most of the stories are quite interesting.
Oh, yes. And
With your
true
permission, I'll maybe share the book that you gave me with Joy and Mary. I think they'd like to.
Absolutely, or
Yes.
I have copies,
Yes.
I'd be glad to give you one.
stories. And they'd be all true stories, so that's
Yes,
great.
they're all true
Yes,
stories.
Bring back a lot of memories, because we are elderly too.
Yeah.
I also brought a book with me today. It's called Fighting for Home and Country, Women Remembering World War II. This is put out by the Federated Institute, like Women's Institute. And when the Second World War was over 60 years, they asked the ladies if they would like to write about their war memories. And my family kind of encouraged me to, maybe I could write a little short story. But I had to write it as a 5-year-old. So, we have to be interrupted here with a phone call.
Well, we'll hear about that later.
Okay.
My name is Mary.
No, just push the gray. No, just don't touch that.
Say hello.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you?
Good. I'm so excited to be a call-in.
Well, that's very nice. We're anxious to talk with you, too.
Nice to talk to you. How are you ladies today?
Well, we're as good as the weather, I guess.
We're all fine.
We're fine,
And
thanks.
what's your weather like in London? She's in
It's
London.
looking a little overcast, but we're okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
It's the same here.
Yes.
so we understand you want to ask us a few questions?
Yes. I would love to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
So, currently we are, as a organization, rolling out a project that we're calling Wisdom of the Senior. And what we are doing is we're going around and asking residents about their advice. So what I would love to know from you ladies, if you could help me out with some advice questions and see if you could answer some of our questions and see how it goes. So one of them is, how would you tell a future generation, how to have a good marriage? Something like that.
How to have a good marriage?
Yeah, what's the key to success?
Love and marriage.
Go together.
Like a horse and carriage.
So I would say after and song.
I just think the main thing is be kind to each other and treat each other with respect. And that to me is a great marriage.
I think
And
that's
then you have good memories all
good advice.
Yes.
Anything to add to that, Mary?
Be true to each other.
That's a definite, yes.
Nothing to laugh about.
To cooperate, too,
Yes.
is a good thing.
And talk.
Yes.
Talking is very, very important because, you know, whether it's good things to talk about or whether it's the hardships, there should
That's
be
right.
lots of communication between.
Yes,
Exactly,
communication.
exactly.
Very good.
And caring for each other, I think, is the main thing. You have to be, caring and considerate of each
Yes,
other,
you
and
No arguing.
respect. Well,
You have to argue a certain
You
amount.
can't agree on everything, but you
Well.
you have a discussion about it and then go on. You go your way and I'll go mine.
Yeah, I'll leave.
Okay, Jennifer, what's next?
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to take it one step back and ask you before you get married, what's the best way to find a date?
Oh,
Oh,
Well, that was the day before internets,
that's so long ago. Goodness gracious, it was
put an ad in the paper.
No.
We went dancing a lot. We went
Yes.
to the church groups and we went
Yes.
to different little towns around Guelph area.
Yes.
And we met at a dance actually.
Yeah,
And,
so did we.
I did the same thing. I
danced for
used to-
46 years and then 49 years. And
Yes.
that's,
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I did too. I
Yeah.
had several girlfriends, and I would drive one week, and we would go to the Saturday night dances, and they would drive the next week.
Well, I'm older, so we walked.
I don't think you're older.
Oh gosh, yes.
I couldn't walk. I was 8 miles out in the country.
Oh well.
Didn't you have snowshoes?
Oh dear.
Too funny.
yes, we do laugh a lot.
Good.
Well, you would maybe go in the wagon rather than drive.
Well, that's another story, the hay wagon.
No, I didn't go to town in the hay wagon.
Oh. Oh, great.
Okay, Jennifer.
memories.
Sure, so I'll ask you another one. What advice would you give to your 20-year-old self?
My 20-year-old self. Okay, that's a hard one.
If you had to do it all over again?
Be true to yourself, I guess, for one
Yeah.
thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Be honest.
Mm-hmm.
True to your family.
Yes. And do what you're told.
And don't drink.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Well, water you can.
Yes. Oh.
Well, when we were young, people didn't drink like they do today. Anybody who went to the local bar to have a drink was rather frowned upon.
Well, you had to hide it under the table or in your purse.
When you went to a dance,
You took
hid
a little.
it under
You
the
took a little
table.
bottle. When it was gone, it was gone.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you shared it with
yes.
people at the table with you too.
Yeah, it's a whole different
Oh,
Scenario.
scenario
wasn't it?
now.
Yes. When we were first married, when I was first married, my husband was going to the university, and he had been in the Air Force, so there was a lot of drinking going on in the Air Force in those days. And but he didn't drink during the week, but every once in a while we would hear about a dance, and 2 or 3 people would get together, and one of them would have an old car that we could get to the dance and back, and they would quite often buy just a Mickey, and that was for 6 people. And there might might even be some left over at the end of the evening. So it wasn't heavy drinking in those
And you
days.
shared it.
You
shared
shared
with
it,
people
yeah.
at the table. Yes. Mm-hmm.
No, Barb drank it all.
Not me. I was a
I never liked the
teetotaler.
taste of it anyway, so I didn't want it.
That is quite the advice you give to your 20-year-old self.
Give it to the kids today and see what happens.
That's too funny. So questions like those are what we are asking our residents in all 11 of our homes. The categories include love, career, leisure, family, hopes, future, and just life in general. So we're looking exactly like, those are just some sample questions of some advice we're looking for, but also poems and artwork and stories, photos and quotes, any other relevant artifacts such as love letters from overseas or recipes that they hold close to the chest if they'll give them up. But what we're doing is developing a book that maybe once it's published I can come back on your show and show the book of all the advice and the wisdom across all of our homes. Yeah, what do you ladies think about that?
Sounds like a very nice idea. Just reminded me of some letters that I do have that my father wrote to me from Europe.
Ah,
Wonderful.
And I have them, not all of them, but I have quite a few of
Yeah,
them.
that's wonderful.
So I might be able to share a couple, you know.
Mm, that's great.
that's wonderful.
I became a teacher when I read the letters, my father wasn't a very good speller. But I guess writing a letter under the circumstances that he wrote would have written those letters, and yeah.
They're
But
precious.
the memories are there.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
and the snapshots, the little pictures
Yeah.
that we've collected, you know, from
Yeah.
way back.
Yeah.
Oh, they're great too. They're
But you
great to look
mentioned
at
about a
this.
career on there when you were running off your things
Yeah.
there, Jennifer. If we were giving advice to like 20-year-olds today, I think that they should follow their careers. So often in the past, the ladies, they gave up their careers to get married and have their families.
That's right.
Now we tend to have a bit of a career
Yes.
and then marriage and then our families. And,
Mhm.
but you can do both.
Yeah.
You can
Yes.
do both
You plan
But,
it.
if you plan it well. And,
a number of years ago, when you were very young, the ladies who were teaching had to quit when they
Yes,
got
they did.
married. It was the law that
Yeah.
once you got married, you had to quit teaching.
yeah.
So a lot of those ladies
Yes,
raised their families first,
that's
and
right.
then
That's right.
went back to teaching when they got older.
Okay. Well, thank you, Jennifer, for your phone call,
Oh,
and
thank you.
we look forward to hearing about your book. And if we can help you in any other way, just phone us.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
We look
Thank
forward
you.
to it.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
for calling.
Bye.
Now maybe we'll continue with our Remembrance Day for a few minutes.
Yes. We'd like to hear your story.
Well, I wasn't going to read the story.
Oh, yes. It's a short one. I think it depends on whether we have time or not, but read it anyway.
My father, Charles Searle, was working at the ingot iron factory in Guelph during the first few years of the war. The men were being called into the army according to their age. My dad was over 30 by this time. He didn't wait to be called up to join the army. He left before his call came. I remember the day that the War Department called to tell him his hot time had come, and my mother proudly said, "He's already gone." He joined the Essex Scottish unit in London, Ontario, and was sent to British Columbia to train in the mountains. On February the 22nd, 1944, my birthday, I was playing on Perth Street, and along came my dad in his army uniform. He was home for a short visit before being shipped overseas. My family was complete for a while. Mother and Dad, Dawn, age 7, myself, aged 5, and Bill, 2. We went to the studio in the square in downtown Guelph and had the family photo taken. And this is the picture that I have here.
Yes,
That's a
short
cute
Was
one.
that at O'Keefe's studio?
That's a real cute thing.
Then off we went to the train station at Aramossa Road and Cardigan Street. What a crowd. Everyone was there to say goodbye to the Guelph soldiers who were being shipped overseas. My grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins came to wish my dad the best. I can still hear the whistle of the train as it pulled away from the station. All the soldiers were leaning out of the windows and waving. Everyone was crying and waving and trying to be brave. My 7-year-old brother Don told Mother, Bill, and myself not to worry. He would look after us while Dad was away. I was in Miss Pickett's class at St. Agnes School. Well,
We all were in Miss Pickett's class.
we prayed for every day for the soldiers. I especially prayed for my dad and for peace. I was so proud to have a daddy fighting for us across the ocean. All the children donated 50 cents each week for war saving stamps. That was a lot of money in those days. And Miss Pickett printed our names on the chalkboard as we purchased these stamps. For Easter 1944, my brothers and I sent my dad a soldier's Catholic prayer book. In the front we wrote, "To our dad with love." My dad wrote letters home to my mother and individual letters to each of us. The Knights of Columbus and the Salvation Army supplied Dad with his writing paper. Dad was always telling us to be good. When Dad was on leave in Belgium, he brought us some wooden shoes. He had our names printed on the side and sent them home to us. I have those wooden shoes in my room.
Oh,
bless
yes, you'll never part with those.
And then I go on to say about how my dad met my mother's brother, Bill McCluskey, overseas, and a few things about him carrying his guitar. And when he came home, my grandma asked him where his guitar case was. He said he traded it for some food and some cigarettes. So I tell a little bit about that in my story.
Yeah.
My Uncle Bill, my mother's brother, was in the Red Cross division. And when he was ministering to a dying soldier, the soldier gave him a rosary.
Oh my goodness.
And my Uncle Bill carried that in the case, brought that home and gave it to me for my first communion. I still have that rosary.
Isn't that a wonderful thing?
Oh, isn't that?
Early in 1945, my mother received the telegram stating that my father was missing. I remember her face, but she never lost hope. She was strong. Then on February 19th, 1945, Dad was killed by a sniper bullet during the liberation of Holland, just 3 days before my birthday. We have the telegrams from the War Department saying he was killed and buried in Germany, and later his body was exhumed and reburied in Holland. He's buried in Grosbeek Cemetery in Nijmegen, Holland. I remember my father's funeral at the Church of Our Lady in Guelph. Father O'Reilly said the Mass. Dad's coffin was draped with the Union Jack, and his name is on a plaque in the Church of Our Lady. Father O'Reilly and my dad used to go fishing together. Thanks, Dad. I'm proud to be your daughter.
I guess.
But there's lovely stories in this book, and if you want to read any of them, it's very, very nice.
My
Yes.
sister was in Belgium.
Yes.
She was a sergeant.
I remember you
And
shared your
she
picture.
sent shoes too.
Is that right?
Yeah, I've been to Holland twice and to those cemeteries.
Bob and I went on our 25th wedding anniversary.
did you?
It was always a dream to go and visit that. Yes.
Of course.
But how's that for your mom?
Yes.
To get that news.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So,
and the
but
whole
you
family.
have what memories too? Cause
Yeah.
Yes. So.
No, I'm not going to cry.
No. So Remembrance Day is very special to everyone.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
Not only remembering, I was just thinking today, remembering those who did sacrifice their lives, but even the soldiers who are still with us, even here at Riverside Glen.
Yes, there's a lot.
Like, there are a
Yes.
lot of veterans here, and
Yes.
we have to remember them in our prayers too, because they sacrificed
Yeah.
such,
Yes,
so
they
many
did.
years of their lives
That's right.
for us,
Oh,
for all those wonderful freedoms that we do have.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
So,
They're great.
I
yeah.
remember seeing them at the train when they were taken off.
Oh,
Seeing friends.
Oh,
See, that
yes,
train
yes.
station isn't there anymore.
No.
No. Yes, yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways,
Yeah.
so on Sunday when it is Remembrance Day, then
Oh,
we'll
yes, yes.
remember the.
Well, we'll remember your
Yes.
father too.
Well,
Yes.
thank you very much.
Yes, yes.
Very nice.
Okay, so thank you for watching the Riverview. I'm Marlene.
I'm Joy.
I'm Mary.
And I'm Barbara. Goodbye now.
Patty